When is the best time to drop a new song? If you're an artist trying to figure out when to release your next music project, then keep watching, because there's a few things that you're gonna want to consider before you pick that release date and prep your song to be a smash. So let's blast off and get started. JM in your universe. Konnichiwa friends, I'm Jonathan Miller and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. I make electronic dance pop music, and every Wednesday on this channel I'm helping others take their music to level 2. If that sounds good, consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell and giving it a like and maybe sharing it with a friend. My goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, so if you found this video helpful, click that button below and share it with a friend. If not, okay, that would make me really sad. I mean, okay, I don't really have feelings because I'm a Virgo, but from what I've heard, that's probably what I would feel. Wait, what? Subscribe! Okay friends, so when is the best time to release a new song? This is a question that every indie artist and major label has to figure out. Some artists get really stressed out about it too, because it can feel like there's always this invisible time crunch over your head. It's like if you don't get your new song or EP or album out right now, it's gonna become irrelevant. Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret that a lot of people don't know. You can't age out of the music industry anymore. There are thousands of musicians out there right now that you and I have never met, but all over the world, they are making a very comfortable living doing what they love, no matter their age. People are restarting their careers in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and upwards, and finding their audience, courtesy of the internet. So if you happen to be in your late 20s right now and you're kind of worried about not becoming the next Ariana Grande, you haven't been signed, there's a pandemic, what am I doing? Don't worry, you've got plenty of time. Also, don't try to be anybody else but yourself. Anyway, even though this is the digital age with young Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z currently pioneering this new mindset and reality, there are still some things to consider before you drop your new song. Also, just FYI, I'm gonna say new song a lot, but just know that this applies to larger music projects like mixtapes, albums, and EPs. Now, the main thing that you're gonna wanna consider before releasing a new song is what musical season it is. Music release seasons are a little bit different than your regular fall, spring, winter, and summer. Now, ignoring that the world is still dealing with a pandemic, there are some correlations between the type of song you're releasing and the time of year that it is. There are going to be exceptions to this all the time, but here are the specific times of year that you should be aware of. The start of summer, back to school in September, winter and the holidays, as well as March and April in the spring. Very specifically, these 4 times of year. Music release schedules function like seasons, but they are a little different from your regular seasons, like I said. So let's begin with the start of summer. This specific time period is May to mid-June. In this specific month or so, everyone's gonna be looking to go for that song of the summer, which means you're more likely to see upbeat and fun and carefree types of songs being released. The anticipation of summertime tends to make people feel a little more carefree. They're starting to get off school for summer vacation, or they're starting to go on vacations. The weather starts to get a bit better. Sorry to all of you in the southern hemisphere. But the overall mood of music consumers tends to be a little bit brighter, which historically, as I said, means more upbeat and carefree songs tend to be released. So these would be songs like California Girls, Butter, Good For You. So if you've got a song that's a bit more playful, keep an eye on the start of summer. Moving forward to back to school in September, this time period is mid-August to the end of September, just before October kicks in with Halloween. Now, what's nice about this music season is that you'll see the most wide variety of music being released. Ballads can hit, late summer bops can hit, like Taylor Swift's Lover or Ariana Grande's Sweetener albums. Also, just FYI, early August is still considered late summer in music world. And the reason it's this specific time period, it's because people are going back to school or starting to settle into that work-school routine. You'll also see a lot of artists start their new eras around this time because fall represents new beginnings. People are going back to school or going off to college. The weather's changing, the leaves start to fall. So if you're looking to start something new for yourself, consider a fall release, because kids will also be back in school, which means they're more likely to tell their friends about new music and things like that. So keep that in mind. Winter and the holidays is where things get a little bit interesting because you never really know how this is gonna go. I think 2020 was a great example of that. It really does change every year, but there are a few things that you should be aware of during this time. This time period in music world is really big. It starts the last week in October and goes all the way to the end of February. Now, obviously right away, if you're dropping a Christmas or holiday themed song or album, mid-November to mid-December is your goalpost. But do keep in mind that everyone releases music during that specific time because everybody wants those CDs and vinyl sales or streaming sales. So be aware of that, but don't let it deter you because it can actually work in your favor too because everyone's talking about new music as well. January 1st is also a very popular release date because everybody's trying to be the first #1 of the new year. Also, everyone's celebrating anyway, so it's just a great time to drop something new. Be aware though, the exact week of Christmas Day is really hard to release something. Even though everyone's doing their last minute shopping, it's a really difficult time to get sales. Not impossible, like I said, there's always exceptions, but in my professional opinion, I would caution against it if you're really trying to make an impact. You're honestly at that point just better releasing it the first week of January because you should know that even places like Spotify and iTunes take time off during that week. So they're not really posting new music during that time unless you distributed your music quite a few weeks in advance. So good luck trying to drop something on a whim. After that first week of the new year, it's a bit of a wild card onto how your release is gonna go because people go back to school and they go back to work and everyone online sees a drop in streams, sales, and views. If you've got a love song, obviously February is gonna be your friend. I know it's cliche, but it's actually pretty true. Watch other music releases at this time. They're either super lovey-dovey or they're I'm single and I'm totally fine with it. Finally, we've got March and April in the spring. March and April are specifically spring in music world. That's it. May pretty much gets grouped over with summer, so it's literally just March and April. Now, darker and ballady songs tend to perform better in winter, but when spring rolls around, that's when artists start to release their more upbeat or brighter toned music. Again, just like fall, a lot of artists will start their new eras during this time as well. You'll see a lot of first singles from albums drop around this time, especially if the full album is coming out in the summer. So in short, if you're wanting to test the waters a bit, and maybe you've got a larger project you want to work up to, March and April are a really good time to do that because people start to come out of their cold seasons. The sun starts to shine again, the trees and flowers start to bloom, people come out of the darkness both physically and metaphorically. So that's why March and April are a great time to start something new. Now, that leaves us with everything in between. Late January, early February, July, early August, October. But here's what's cool about those times. One of the greatest things about releasing new music nowadays is that because of streaming, the demand for new music is always high, all the time. While these musical seasons are great guidelines, there are absolutely cases where these rules are thrown out the window and broken. While you absolutely should keep in mind the tone of your song and the time of year that you're releasing it, you can actually drop a new song anytime you want. Because sometimes doing the opposite of what people expect can work out really well for you. It's a great way to stand out. You never know. If there's anything the pandemic did, it definitely highlighted that when it comes to releasing new music all over the place. So whether that's in the fall, winter, spring, tomorrow, or 2 weeks from now, keep an eye on the calendar, but just get that music out there. So that is my video on when the best time is to release new music. Question of the video, do you know when you're releasing your next song? Leave me a comment below letting me know. If you want to check out my music, you can follow me on Spotify. I would love to have you over there. As an independent artist myself, it really helps me grow and get on playlists. So if you could follow me over there, there's a link in the description below so you can do so. And if you really like me and like what I do, consider joining me on Patreon like Mike here and all these fantastic people to get all sorts of fun rewards, including access to my YouTube calendar to see what's coming to the channel. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new. I put out new videos every single Wednesday. Once again, I'm Jonathan Miller, and I will see you next time. See you later.
I am a machine, not a robot, not a operation electronically. My messages are magnetic vibrations, once a pioneer.